Hi, Richard, love brewing, for those who don't know me, but I'm sure you all do. We've got a nice new product here from Still Spirits. Thought it was worth a run through and just show you what it's all about, because a lot of you have been asking for it. What we're looking at here is a product that will allow us to make whiskey from the natural type product. As we all know, Still Spirits have developed a range of flavourings which are fantastic when they're added to vodka, to neutral alcohol. So we can take our whiskey, our gin, our rum and what have you and add that to the vodka. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to go back to basics. So for example, if you were buying whiskey in Scotland, the whiskey would be made using grain, and you would do a mash and you'd do a boil and then you do the fermentation with it, and then you take that product and you'd then put it in an alembic still and distill. Well, what we're doing is we're going back to the basics, but as opposed to doing an all grain mash, which could take us up to 8 hours, what we've done is we've taken the all grain part, which is taken into a concentrated form, and we then have the malt extract from that grain. And we're going to take the malt extract and do the fermentation on that. So I'm going to show you now what we've got. The product is called Barrel 674. We're looking at about £18 retail for this particular one, and inside the box we have little bits and pieces which are rather exciting. He says trying to get into the box. There we go. Most important part, we've got a pouch of malt extract. 3 kilos of malt extract in here, and what we're going to do with the malt extract is we're going to stand that in hot water. We need it in hot water for about 15-20 minutes. That will soften up the malt, will make it a lot easier to pour when we actually come to add that. We've obviously got some instructions here with some oak chips, an anti-foaming sachet, some turbo clear 2-parter, and we've also got the whiskey Distillers yeast. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our malt extract, as I said, we're standing that in hot water, and we're going to add that to our sterilised equipment, preferably a 30-litre container. Needs to be able to hold at least 30 litres, otherwise you're going to struggle. So any of the Love Brewing containers are perfect. We need to sterilise that, as I said, before we add the malt extract. Once we've done that, once we add the malt extract, we want to add, let me just check here exactly on the quantity that we're looking for. We want 3 litres of boiling water added as well to the malt extract, and then give that a good dissolving. We then top up to 15 litres with a mixture of hot and cold water. We're looking for a start temperature of between 25 and 30, so bear that in mind as we're adding the liquid to the bucket. Once we're up to 15 litres, I would then like you to take 5 kilos of sugar or glucose powder and add that, preferably glucose powder. We're spending a lot of money on this, so we may as well make it the best we possibly can. So we're going to add 5 kilos of glucose powder to the malt extract in the bucket with the water. Give that then a good stir, and we then want to top up to 25 litres. Again, we're looking for that start temperature of between 25 and 30. As close to 30 is good, okay? And once we've got that, we can then add our whiskey yeast to it. So all we're going to do is going to take this, cut the sachet and add the yeast to that particular mix that we've got. We're going to leave that in a room between 20 and 25 for fermentation to take place. We know fermentation is complete. How do we know? Well, we get the same reading on our hydrometer for 2 days on the trot, and obviously we get no action through our airlock of any life from it. When fermentation is complete, what we're going to do is we're going to add our finings. With 2-part finings, we've got part A and part B. Part A is our Kieselsohl part. So as we add part A to the wash, we give it a really good stir. Get rid of some of those gases in it as well. Give it a really good stir. Give it a really good stir. And then we add part A and leave it for 1 hour. After the hour, we then take part B, which is the chitosan part, and we're going to add that to the bucket as well. And we're just going to gently fold that in. folded into the liquid. We're not doing a vigorous stir. And once we've done that, we can then leave it to clear. We're going to come back when the liquid's clear. Normally takes between 24 and 48 hours, but it might just take slightly longer. Just give it a chance. There's no rush on this, just we want it nice and clear. And once we've got our nice clear liquid, what we're then going to do is we're going to add it to our alembic still. Now we're using an alembic rather than the T500 because we're wanting to retain these malty flavours that are in the liquid. And if we do a distillation, as we do with the alembic, where it's going to be between about 35 and 70 ABV, we're then able to retain those flavours much better than if we were using the T500. The T500, we're going to be extracting the alcohol at between 92 and 94%, and there we're stripping out all the good flavours. So we're looking to use the alembic, a traditional pot still, to be able to retain these flavours, these malty flavours, which is going to give us the whisky taste. So we're going to put this wash into the alembic and we're going to run it through the alembic. We all know about the heads and tails and the centre parts and the what have you on the alembic. If you're at all confused, have a look at our alembic still where we actually run through the workings of the alembic. So that's a really good video for you to catch up on if you haven't done that already. Once we've collected our alcohol, oh sorry, I should have said that at the time it's going to go into the alembic, we're going to use an anti-foaming sachet. So that's going to go in with the wash into the alembic still. This is going to stop it frothing and it's going to make sure that we don't get too much the thing too excited while we're actually doing the distillation. When the thing's finished and we've got our alcohol, we have one final thing. We have an oak chipping sachet, and we can add the oak chippings to the alcohol. This is going to help to give it an oaky, rather nice, pleasant taste. It also helps with the maturing. Now the oak, there is no steadfast rule on how long we use it and how much we do. There are guidelines in the instructions, 3, 5, 7 days, something like that, depending on the sort of strength that you're looking for on this. It also does depend on room temperature. The hotter the room temperature, the more this is going to take effect quickly. So the cooler, the longer we're going to leave it in. But again, that's for you to decide and for you to realise how much you want out of it. But that's down to you, as I said. Once we've done that, we've then got our whisky. We can then leave it, we'd recommend about 2 weeks for it to mature and just let the flavours blend in. Anything sort of like 7, 14 days. I know it's going to be hard for you to keep your hands off it, but give it a try. And I think you'll love this new Barrel 64. It's a great new product.